Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today I have some very interesting review, impressions, long-term impression if you will, of a knife I received in that I'm very excited to have in my collection, something that's really, really cool. If you haven't seen this yet, this is the Quiet Carry the 9. Very, very nice knife. I've had several other Quiet Carries that I've enjoyed, thought they were outstanding, fantastic knives. They just didn't quite fit my hand shape, my size of my hands. They weren't quite my cup of tea after extended use of it, and I ended up selling them and passing it along to somebody else who could enjoy it. Some of them were just a little too small for my hand. I had a Quiet Carry IQ. It was just too small, but I loved everything about it. It had the best action in a knife that I had up to that point. And then I had the Drift. Loved that knife. Was really fantastic for choking up on that knife. Just couldn't quite get the action I wanted out of it, and I just didn't carry it a whole lot for some reason. And I'm not sure exactly why I didn't, but I just didn't. I think it's because it was a single deployment type of knife, and that kind of disappointed me a little bit. I like multiple deployments. Well, let's talk a little bit about this knife. This handle is titanium. It's milled. You see this beautiful texturing on the milling. Quiet Carry does an outstanding job of milling. And if you look closely, you can see some micro milling on there as well. That's all the way across here, and I don't know if can we get a little focus on that? Can I get the right camera angle? There you go. You can see that right there, right? And they over here there's a carbon fiber inlay. Now this normally you'll see on their site has a micarta only. I was able to talk to them and get the carbon fiber put in because I had a blacked out one I wanted to get, but I think this is really what I wanted more with the carbon fiber, and I think they've talked about possibly offering this as a future option because I really like this. I like the black carbon fiber on the raw titanium like this, and this is stonewashed kind of a texture. If you can see that, at least a deep pocket mill carry clip, as you can see here, which is beautifully deep. I mean, that thing's going to go super, super deep, totally hidden. But this clip works wonderfully. It's got perfect tension, beautiful curve and ramp to go over, goes in and out very smoothly, acts almost like an over travel stop, even though there is a steel insert in there with that over travel stop already, and a steel insert for the blade that touches the tang when it locks up. So it's steel on steel, and you don't have any of that lock stick that occurs with titanium when it is locking up. But everything here, the contoured, you can see it's also contoured, beautiful contoured shape there all the way around, and the edges are very smooth. They're not sharp, so they're nice and chamfered, very comfortable, and you can see the beautiful access to the thumb stud here, and yeah, just really great. I love the shape of this knife too. It's really nice. So let's go ahead and deploy this. Now it's a beautiful satin finish, and as you can see, it's a very polished satin finish. Can get a little shiny there, yeah. And it's a flat grind. It goes all the way up to here, and then it flattens out right here. There's not quite a swedge, but it is nice and chamfered. Nothing sharp on the edge up here. Comes to a pretty thin tip up here. Great for poking in for boxes, opening letters, envelopes, what have you. Packaging, you know, like cases of water, or, you know, whatever, cat litter, dog food, cat food, whatever you need to open up with, you know, soil, fertilizer, whatever you're going to use your knife for. So it works really nice. Now, being that it's a high polished finish, I've already scratched it a little bit, and that's the only bummer, you know, but, you know, I use my knives. I'm okay with that. And so I expect it to get some scratches on this one. And, you know, it's just one of those that, you know, you just have to accept it if that's what you're going to get, right? In a perfect world, maybe I would have liked maybe a stonewashed, or maybe, I don't know. But the problem with stonewashed that you get on metal is that it's more pitted, it's more prone to rust. Now this is CPM 20 CV. Now you can see that, CPM 20 CV. So that's comparable to M390, which is great blade steel. It kind of has a, I want to say drop point, but it has like it's a drop point, but there's like almost a clip to it. So it's a clip, modified clip drop point. I don't know what you want to call this, but you know, the flat grind comes to a very thin edge, so it's a nice slicer, very, very sharp. Hones up really well in the leather strop, which is nice. The thumb studs have this beautiful volcano kind of pattern, so it's very easy to deploy. Opens and closes. It is a frame lock. Beautiful frame lock that's really out of the way, so if you're doing left-handed, you get really easy access, and you can even do an easy reverse deploy because of that frame lock, being out of the way, being small bar here, and then kind of out of the way. I like that a lot. So yeah, so you would think there's just, you know, front thumb deploy and reverse thumb deploy, but because it is such a flat grind, goes all the way up here, if you get down here, you can easily do a middle finger flick, and I just take my middle finger like here, Yeah, but of course, I just do it without trying to show you, but put the middle finger, it comes down here, and then you just flick it, and it opens up. I like that. I can do that both left and right-handed, so that gives me multiple deployments. I thought I could, and when I got this knife in, it was one of my hopes that it would, and it did. And so I was very pleased with that. But I love the shape, the design, very uniform. I love the linear shapes of this. You know, being a nerd and liking the linear shape, I love the ergonomics and the flow of the design. Now notice the cutout for the lock bar is mostly on the inside, and there's a little bit here. It's not sharp, which I like also, because sometimes this being very big here will cut into your jeans or cut into your clothing with the clip, right? And so this makes that really, really nice, makes it very comfortable. And this cutout here for the thumb stud is just phenomenal, both for the front and for the reverse. You can see the reverse flicking is really nice, same left-handed, really nice, and then reverse flick, really, really nice. I like that a lot. Blade is dead center. I had no issues with that, really, really nice. Blade is in there, nice and solid rock. The detent, you can see, comes in really nicely. Yeah, nice click, no detent lash in there, really solid. Really like that. Now, I will say that for some people, the detent is not very strong, but I like it. To me, it's perfect. I didn't have to do any tuning on this one. It was absolutely perfect for me, because you can get that drop shut action. Now notice one thing that's on here. When I do drop it, that finger choil in the back of the tang, it's not really the tang, it's sort of the back part of the blade right here, but that catches on my finger right here. And the sharpening choil is long enough that blade's not gonna come down and slice my finger, right, or slice my nail. So it'll catch really nicely. So that's really, really comfortable. It makes it very much enjoyable to open and close and drop shut. So to me, that's great. Great cutout, great action, great ability to drop and close it. I think that's fantastic. The texture, the milling is really great. Gives you some extra gripping on here. When you do a tight grip, this clip's so nice and rounded. There's no hot spots. Just very, very comfortable. Really, really, really like that. All right, let's do some measurements. All right, so let's see how much this weighs. Oh, we got it zeroed out. All right, here we go. So we're at 3.95 ounces, just shy of 4 ounces. So it's relatively light, especially with that carbon fiber insert. It gives it a nice little lightness to it, right? So 3.95 ounces. Let's go ahead and measure the length of the blade. All right, so the blade here, overall, the knife is 7.5 inches long. We're looking at the blade to the base of the handle. We're probably at 3 3/8 of an inch. The cutting edge is probably going to be right at just over 3 inches, maybe 3 1/16. If we look at the full straight cutting edge to the edge, it's around just 3 and I would say 1/8 of an inch. So, you know, it's definitely over 3 inches. So if you have the 3-inch knife law, you have to keep that in mind, right? Oh, so you can choke up. I mean, there's enough of a choil there, and this finger can hold you in place. There is some jimping to hold you, and I can choke up if I need to do a push cut. It's close, but you just got to be careful. You know, that little edge there could cut you, but you can choke up, and I found that to be fine, and some people will do a push cut like that, right? This nice belly will give you a nice curve cut, and this flat edge will just work really nicely to go through. I really, 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 really like that. So there's that. All right, let's go ahead and measure the blade stock on this knife. Okay, so we're at 0. Let's go ahead and measure it. All right, so can you see that? So it's 0.0185, so 0.019. So 119th hundredths of an inch, right? 119th hundredths of an inch. So it's just a little over 1/10 of an inch. Not much, very thin blade, but very solid, robust, goes all the way out. That blade stock goes strong and then kind of closes off right here. You can see that. Just enough for poking into the box, packaging, whatever bags that you need to open. So works really, really nice like that. I like that a lot. All right, so those are the measurements. Knife category. Well, you know, it's not a budget for sure. It is definitely not a regular because it's definitely over the $250 mark. This would be in the high end because it's definitely over $275 to $300 mark. Definitely a high-end knife, and I think the design, the craftsmanship, the details on this is phenomenal to justify that. I definitely think this is a great knife for that cost. So definitely a high-end knife. One thing I forgot to talk about real quick, notice the milling in here. The milling is really nice. You can see that on that side. Now it looks like if you over here, I don't know if you get just a right angle, it almost looks like there's milling on the other side, but that's the reflective shiny part in here. They've already milled it out for the carbon fiber. So there's no need to mill this side. Just this side is milled out to reduce the weight, which they've done a nice job on. So the purpose of this knife, it's definitely an EDC knife. You know, can it be a workhorse? Yeah, absolutely. You can do a lot of work with this. I would have no problem doing work on this, using it in a utilitarian kind of way. I think it's really fantastic for that. I have no qualms or issues with any of that, and I think it will definitely has great purpose when you look at this knife. So there you go. I think you would be served well to use this knife for so many things and for that purpose. So there's that. I think I wouldn't use this to go chop wood or you know, break logs or cut metal wire or break bricks with. You know, I'm not going to go out bushwhacking with this knife. This is an EDC type of knife, you know, and I think, but it does it well, and it's really nice for discreet carry. I think I enjoy carrying this to a party, a cocktail party, to work or to church or something like that. It's just a beautiful carry, very nice looking knife, and the action, like I said, is just enjoyable. Really is. So yeah, that's the purpose that I would say. Now you could use it for whatever you want. I mean, if you want to go out and beat the heck out of it, I think it would do well. I really do. It's not what I would do. I mean, I'm like 95% of the people probably. I use it in my office. I open boxes, letters, envelopes, packages, and that's about it. So that's typical, right? Let's talk about the ergos and feel. So we talked a little bit about before the knife, the handle, and the design. Feels great. It's comfortable, chamfered, contoured. Everything is great. We talked about that, and it's just, and it is very comfortable. I have enjoyed carrying this. It's been very comfortable. It has an incredible long-term enjoyment of deploying it with the thumb studs and with the flat blade grind down here. I really have enjoyed that, both left and right-handed. Oops, let me get on there. Do left and right-handed, right? I really enjoyed that. Closing is just fantastic. Action is beautiful, drop shut, very solid. It's not loose, and it has very glidey feel. I haven't had to replace the bearings or the washers. Typically, I will consider putting skiff washers in there, but I don't really think it needs this. The action is beautiful. It really is beautiful, just like this. So I may get skiffs. I don't know. I might make it even more buttery smooth. Who knows? As far as fidget factor, the fidget factor, long-term, short-term, long-term is great. Short-term was great, but the long-term is great and becoming great. I've enjoyed it. I can have this knife, flick it all night long, all day long, and my hand's not getting tired. The cutaway for the frame lock, as you can see with the frame lock, that gives you about 50% right there, right, with the little steel insert. The frame lock is nice cutaway right here. It's cutaway to get to the thumb stud when you open it, but the cutaway, as you can see, is really nice to get to the frame lock. And it's very comfortable to drop, very comfortable to get to. So the closing design, the cutaway, is really great. And it's even a little chamfered right there, so it's not a sharp edge that you're pushing against. Very comfortable. Doesn't hurt your finger. After long-term opening closing, it's very comfortable. I like that. So that makes the fidget factor, the long-term fidget factor, even better. The hands aren't hurting, aching after a while, after you've had it for a bit. My overall thoughts on this knife is I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. And I'm definitely going to make this a recommended knife. It's going to be in my recommended knives, my recommended higher end knives. Definitely think that you should consider this for your EDC and your carry. I think it fits a whole bunch of handle sizes. Definitely if you're XL to, you know, large to XL, maybe even double XL, you might be a little close to the edge, but you could choke up probably. But I think it's definitely comfortable. If you got giant hands, maybe a little too small for you. You might want to consider if you would use it more choked up way, then maybe, but it's not going to be a gargantuan knife, right? It's 7 inches like we said, but very comfortable. So that's my overall thoughts. I'm definitely going to recommend it. I like this a lot. I love the texturing. I love everything about this. It's just executed so well. Good job, Quiet Carry. You don't need me to say that, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm enjoying this. So great job. Hey, if you have any thoughts or comments or questions, would you feel free to comment down below? I would love to hear from you. Any things you might like to see me do in a future review, or a question about this knife or this review, I would love to answer those. I do try to read all my comments. And if you enjoyed that, but real quick, if you have any ideas for future future reviews or even my Rob's ramblings, feel free to leave that as well. I would love to hear that. But if you found this content fun, interesting, or worthwhile, would you please consider hitting the like button for this video? I sure would appreciate that. It helps me to know that this content's of value and I can keep producing more. Also, if you like this value, would you consider subscribing to my channel for more content? And if you've already subscribed, maybe hit that notification button so you can be notified of my content when it's released. I would appreciate that. And if you like this, maybe check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. That's robs_nerdy_knives. I have some other little postings and videos and things I like to do over there, but it's a way you can also talk to me and email me over there on Instagram if you're interested. All right, well, hey, thanks so much for watching today. I sure appreciate it. You guys have a great day and a great week. Bye.